everyone for being here today to discuss the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program, or VR&E. But before I get started, I would like to take a moment of just to thank you so much, Kate, for helping me get through these things as a rookie dude. And she's still going to be with the VA committee, obviously, but she's going to be kind of more of a broad general counselor for everybody, right? So I really want to applaud you. You're a consummate professional, and you are the reason that this subcommittee and this committee is, I think, the most functional committee in the entire House of Representatives. So thank you very much. Okay, now it's time to be mean. That was a joke. Sorry. Mike thought it was funny. The purpose of this program is to assist veterans and service members who have service-connected disabilities with on-the-job training and skills they need in order to obtain meaningful employment or achieve maximum independent living. When this program is appropriately administered, VR&E is more than just a benefits program. It's also a vital first step for disabled veterans to become more financially independent, give back to their community, and achieve their own American dream. And to my knowledge, I believe I'm the only member of Congress that has actually utilized this program. And so I know it inside and out from soup to nuts. However, we are at a crossroads, and I believe right now that VR&E program is going in the wrong direction. Since 2015, Republicans on the subcommittee have been concerned about VR&E's previous IT failures that have cost the government millions of dollars. Other IT failures in VA have cost taxpayers billions, and we cannot let VR&E be the latest IT project to become one of these failures. I recognize that VR&E's latest IT project, the Readiness Employment System, or RES, was launched as a pilot a few months ago, and early reports showed that the program has been received well. This is encouraging news, but the IG said in our last hearing that the VA has a track record of difficulty implementing major IT systems. They almost without fail take longer, and they take replans. I know the VA states that they are finally on the right path with this new case management system. However, I'm skeptical as this undertaking will now span the term of 4 administrations. I just want to say that again. This project is spanning 4 administrations, and it's not done yet. It's very frustrating and a disservice to our veterans and VA employees who have badly needed this IT system for nearly a decade. I expect to hear today about VA's REST program, progress, and who will be held accountable if this IT update fails yet again. I'd also like to hear from the VA about data tracking, performance, and checks and balances in VR&E. The PACT Act has led to an amazing increase in participants of increase of nearly 30%. And however, now we're seeing increased wait times and an increased burden on counselors and higher caseloads. There has to be a better balance of priorities in the program to make sure a veteran gets what they need, while also ensuring that the VA is responsible stewards of taxpayers' investment. A responsibility that I find VA has a profound and consistent inability to perform. We've heard from one school that a veteran has been attending classes for over a decade, and at the cost of over $700,000 for a single veteran. And it's a direct result of counselors getting waivers for the VR&E recipients well over 99% of the time. So this person consistently just got waiver after waiver after waiver after waiver for a total of over $700,000. And to my knowledge, they don't have a degree yet, do they? Yeah, the cost for a medical school, just to put this in context, is about $355,000 to become a physician. Just throwing that out there. In fact, the VA told us last month, we had a meeting yesterday, that since the fiscal year 2020, there's been 39,904 extensions that were approved, and only 59 of the requests for extensions were denied, and that is truly absurd. It's statistically impossible that all of those extensions were appropriate. I'm looking forward to hearing from the VA about the real-life examples their constituents that constitute granting a waiver. On paper, bureaucrats may just be completing a check-in-the-box exercise instead of completing a thoughtful review of each case. Additionally, we've heard numerous concerns about long wait time. 65% of regional offices take over a month for a veteran to meet with the counselor for an initial evaluation. And my friend and ranking member's regional office in San Diego the average is 158 days for a veteran to meet a counselor for an initial evaluation. And again, that is just absurd. A month is too long, but making a veteran put their life on hold for nearly half a year before even being seen by a counselor is ridiculous. It has a negative effect on their lives, it has a negative effect on our society, it has a negative effect on the VA. And I know the VA is going to say that RAS will fix the backlog, but it's time to stop putting the blame on failed IT projects and start looking for answers rather than throwing more money at the problem. If these problems exist at VR&E, they're going to become a crisis again in the future VA because it is estimated that there will be a 61% increase in veterans receiving monetary benefits from 2023 to 2026. And finally, I want to hear from the VA the steps that they're planning on taking to improve the Vet Success on Campus, or VSOC program, and how my bill, H.R. 8648, Modernizing the Veteran On-Campus Experience Act of 2024, would continue to make more improvements. With that, I now yield to the ranking member for his opening remarks. Gentleman yields, I now recognize myself for 5 minutes. Ms. Howell, in your testimony, you're doing good. You feeling all right? It's a lot better now, isn't it? You just got to get into it. I'm telling you, right? I appreciate you supporting my bill, H.R. 8646, the Modernizing Veterans On-Campus Experience Act of 2024, and I want you to know that this committee listens to you guys because we amended the language of that bill to remove the limit on how many veterans VSOC counselors could see. And I think that's going to be helpful. The one thing that I want to ask you about is both of you have mentioned standardized training, right? And the fact you need to have a master's for this and all that stuff. How long do you guys, and we'll start with Ms. Howell, ladies first. How long do you think a standardized training program would take to make someone a capable counselor? I mean, obviously training is an ongoing process, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? The initial block training, how long do you think that would take?
Well, that's an interesting question, sir. Thank you for it. I think we have to be very clear about, are we talking VSOCs or are we talking VRCs?
Let's start with VSOCs and then VRCs.
Okay. For a VSOC counselor, that job description, while it matches a VRC's, what they do at work is very different. They are the touch point for student veterans, so they have to have an understanding of all the benefits and everything else. And some of that can be OJT, but they need, I don't know that I can give you an estimation on standardized training for a VSOC.
I mean, like, it's going to take a month of sit-down didactics and then stuff like that, right?
It'll probably take a month or two, okay. Yeah.
So let's say 3 months. Give it a month? It's the holiday season. I don't know, you know? So let's say 3 months. What about VRCs? And I'm not holding this to you.
No, I appreciate that, sir. For VRCs, I've never seen their training modules. I imagine it's somewhere beyond a couple months. Again, because you have to understand the benefit, you have to understand the intricacies.
Let's just say it's 6 months.
Sure.
Mr. Glindeman, would you agree with those rough time estimates?
Yes, sir. I think absolutely. I think 6 months for the second. And for the VSOC, they're in that immersed environment, so there's that symbiotic learning kind of thing by being in alongside SCOs that are also explaining the benefits. So they're picking up on on how to explain.
And we can agree the initial bottleneck of getting people in the programs is this, right? The initial bottleneck.
Yes.
Okay. So check me out. How long does it take for you to get a master's degree?
2 years.
2 years. So you could spend 1/4 of the time with an individual, get them trained and up to speed. If you just did what you guys just said, right? So we will find out who put this artificial thing, this limit, and making sure that you have to have X amount of educational stuff. And what we have to do, the state of Wisconsin has one of the best, if not the best, vocational training system in the country with our tech schools. And the tech schools like this, you're gonna be a plumber, right? You're gonna be a carpenter, pipe fitter, welder, whatever it is. And you don't spend a lot of time learning about 13th century French poetry, you know, in the welding shop. But we produce excellent welders. So unfortunately, what we've done here is we've created this self-licking ice cream cone with increased amounts of educational requirements that both of you, who are the subject matter experts in your field, say is not required. And we got to stop doing that. Go ahead.
Hey, sir, yeah, I agree with that. You know, in a lot of our positions in higher ed, we see that X amount of experience in lieu of the academic requirement, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so the training could, especially if we're bringing people up, we're raising them from those other positions, from the VRS positions, and we're grooming them to the next level.
That's right. That's called fleeting up in the Navy. Hold on, Miss Howell, we got 24 seconds. I want to say one thing for the record. You mentioned rock stars, and what was the other one? Rocks? Well, I want to say this publicly, and I'm only going to say her first name, but my counselor, her first name was Ann. She was the former, not the latter. She's a rock star, and I'm very proud of her, as I am with the vast, vast majority of the employees at the VA. Vast majority. So we're gonna. But my time has expired here, and I think we got some really good feedback from you guys, and we went through your written testimony, and it was brilliant. So I want to thank you all for attending today, and for all of you working with the subcommittee to improve the lives of veterans and dependents during the 118th Congress. Both sides of the aisle, you guys know that this is a nonpartisan committee. I do appreciate the discussion today. We absolutely know that some things have to change, and nothing's going to change until we change the people at the VA. That's a fact. I believe that we've accomplished the goal today, and I think that we have clearly moved the ball forward throughout this session of Congress, and I believe that that is a direct result of the working relationship that I have with the man that I respect tremendously, my ranking member, Mr. Levin. So with that, I'd like to yield to you, sir, for any closing comments you may have.